The EU warns the impact of the conflict might last years. UK inflation jumps and Lufthansa cancels thousands of flights this summer. EU countries approve a $1 billion loan to Ukraine after the new Hungarian government drops its veto. Also coming up on The World Today, as the UK considers a ban on social media for under-16s, we'll hear from students on whether they back the plans. And after less than 4 months in charge and a run of dismal results, Chelsea sacked their manager, Leo Rossigna. Hello and welcome to The World Today on BBC News. Iran has said it's ready to defend its sovereignty following President Trump's decision to extend a ceasefire. Tehran claims it seized 2 cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz, with 3 in total reporting they've been attacked. BBC Verify has analysed the likely locations of the 3 ships when they were hit. Marine traffic data shows all 3 ships changed direction at the time they were reportedly attacked. Iran says it seized the MSC Francesca and Epaminondas, but it's not commented on the state of the Euphoria. There are no reports of casualties or major damage. Well, this is the live tracker of the Strait of Hormuz. Up to 2,000 ships are stuck in the Persian Gulf, unable to leave via the strait, with Iran still imposing restrictions on who can transit the waterway. President Trump, meanwhile, has said the US will continue its blockade of Iranian ports after announcing an extension to the ceasefire. He said it's until Iran comes up with what he calls a unified proposal. Well, let's speak now to Corey Ranslem, who's Chief Executive Officer at Dryad Global and a maritime risk intelligence and cyber solutions expert. Good to talk to you, Corey. Are you surprised these ships tried to make what is effectively a run for it through the strait?
Hey, Miriam, thank you for having me on the program this evening. We've seen a really interesting traffic pattern that has been waxing and waning kind of based on what the news cycle is and what's being reported, where as ships are feeling that it may be safe and open, that they make the run to make the transit through the strait. And so that's been varied quite a bit over the last few days, and not surprised that ships have been trying to move. As you said, there's probably over 2,000 vessels that are waiting to move in and out of this region.
So how advanced do you think Iran's capabilities are in the strait?
Right now, we believe that their capabilities have been fairly severely degraded over the past few weeks with this conflict. We have seen, and our intelligence teams have been looking at, the potential reports of sea mines being placed. At this point, none have been found, and we haven't been able to get really any clear idea of where those may be placed, but we haven't seen any incidents with ships. We still believe they do have some small arms, small boat, and some drone capabilities, and also do probably still have a stockpile of sea mines. However, it's probably not as close as to what they had earlier.
We've had a statement in the last few minutes from the International Maritime Organization Secretary General. I wanted us to read you a part of it, Corey, because he talks about seafarers, in particular one seafarer stranded in the Gulf, describing the constant stress of missiles, the danger of falling debris, the need to ration supplies, difficulty keeping his family informed. It sounds like an utter nightmare for him and the 20,000 or so others who are stuck there.
That's one of the biggest issues right now, and I've been at sea myself and can empathize with what the seafarers are going through, and that's the biggest and most unfortunate part of this conflict, is what we're seeing happen and play out with these seafarers that are innocent, that are just trying to do their jobs on board these vessels, and I really hate to see the fact that they get continuously brought into these various conflicts, not just here, but other parts of the world.
They must be quite used to it, though, I suppose.
I don't know if they're used to it. Most of these people didn't go to sea to join the military. They went to sea to work on cargo ships, and it's really unfortunate to see with the different hotspots globally that now it's becoming the norm that vessels and commercial cargo ships and seafarers' lives are being put at risk as part of these wider conflicts.
How easy will it be for this strait to go back to normal if there is some sort of agreement between the two sides?
So I think it's going to take some time for the movement of traffic to normalize. Typically, before this conflict, we were seeing roughly between about 150 to 200 ships a day move through the strait. It can probably handle a little bit more of that than that. But if you're looking at, we have potentially 2,000 to 3,000 vessels that need to move in and out of this region. It's going to take a few weeks for that supply chain to be able to normalize.
And the damage done so far, have you managed to look into it or get a kind of feel for it?
Damage, you mean from a financial perspective or from kind of a more of a shipping perspective?
I think probably more of a shipping perspective, yeah.
So it is causing problems to the global economy and the movement of ships. When you look at it, ships